Nick Fuentes seem as intelligent as he does? What makes him get the leverage? Because
Right.
he probably has access to intel. He
Right.
gets it, and then he puts his spin on it, and
Right.
it's raw information. So people look at him like the expert, and he gains
Right.
followership. Like
True.
I could take information that I'm getting right now and
Right.
just start a podcast. Be like, oh, I didn't hear it, and then you get a confirmation. I look like a genius.
Right. Because that's the thing. It's that confirmation of
Right.
information not out there to
What makes a
everybody yet.
prophet a prophet when it
Right.
comes to pass?
And
You know,
but you putting this crazy spin on it, and we're taking
makes
every
them follow
word as
you and
true.
not the information. They're going to
Yes.
hang on your words because of
Yes.
your personality,
Yes.
your ability to what I mean, there are certain people that have a way with words,
Yeah. 100%.
right?
100%.
And when you have that, you're going to develop and draw a following.
Right.
And when people see truth to your stuff and you relate, you connect, it
Right.
resonates with them. Man,
Right.
come on.
Right. That's listen, that okay, so top story. like like disseminating information, right? And good morning. Good morning, Mama Corey. Good morning, Lisa. Good morning. Good morning. Good morning,
Good
Pastor
morning,
Mo
everybody.
in the building. Good morning. Good morning. Um, so that disseminating, hey Sam in the building. Good morning.
I
Um
don't see the comments.
I
Hey,
do
folks, Pastor Long is on here.
yes indeed. Um yeah, and a lot of times it's funny, right? So I try to listen, you get the information and you try to separate like the fact from an opinion, the spin on things. He said, I'm gonna need for you all to stop making me feel on the intro.
My apologies, Lisa. I was in the middle of talking and
Oh
AD
yeah.
just went
I
live.
go live. I go
Uh,
listen because we had conversations start up, but I like to tell them, hey, I'm going live, so they're not sharing stuff they know, they may not be able to share publicly. But when it starts getting real good, it's like, hey, I'm gonna go live. This is an insight into our conversation. So, sorry, Lisa, I apologize.
so I was just talking about the comparison of the intelligence reports that I'm getting through other
right,
resources
right,
and comparing it to what the narrative is on national airwaves.
right,
And what has happened is I'm getting information that is so raw now,
yeah,
so fresh, that it causes me to no longer pay as much attention to national media. I'm
right,
a person, I watch CNN, I watch Fox, I watch MSNBC. I like to, CBS, I like AB. I like to get the collaborative messaging and then try to pull truth from what everyone is saying.
right, right,
But now that I'm getting this raw data that has not been tainted,
yeah,
it's difficult to watch the news because I
oh,
can get the same message, but I
yeah,
can hear their narrative.
right,
That's the issue that we have, and so it's interesting to see the
come
dynamics
on, Auntie.
between information coming from people who have feet on the ground. Anything from, I was telling AD, anything from a domestic violence issue in a small town around Timbuktu
Right,
to Putin changing his stance and his commitment to China about not entertaining nuclear warfare,
right,
right? And so he's backpedaling, and now China is trying to remind him, President Xi is trying to remind him of what he had said previously. Now that he's starting to relocate infrastructure to Belarus. And so we're getting information from people that are on the ground that are having local conversations through this app, and by the time the news hits CNN or Fox,
right,
it's now been washed.
right, yeah,
And so it just disrupts your desire to listen to the news, to the media. That's the issue that I've been fighting through. But to AD's point, you still want to listen to look at how they twist it up.
yeah,
And
yeah,
and so one example is, this kind of information can make you dangerous,
yeah,
right? What makes Nick Fuentes, I was giving him an example, what makes Nick Fuentes so popular? Nick Fuentes probably has access to raw information. He
right,
puts his spin on it. And then when people can validate what he has said, he looks like a genius. So it
right,
increases his followership. So I could start a podcast with the information that I get every 20 minutes
right.
uh, through a bat channel and start talking about it, and people validate the information, and I'll have a million followers because people will see it as truth.
True. Yeah, definitely. And I like I was saying, I listen to a lot of, news programs, podcasts, and things of that nature. And like I said, it's just separating what you know is fact and what you know is their opinion. Now, you can agree with their opinion or their assessment, but you can understand that, hey, this is their assessment, this is their opinion, this isn't the factual information. And even it's crazy, like I don't know if you guys ever watch American Greed. They talk about, companies that, well, people that either run Ponzi schemes or do certain schemes and steal money. But you got to kind of listen, right? It was because there was one guy, he was running a donation organization, a nonprofit organization, and I guess he was misappropriating. But what they did point out, they said all the money that's come in, he wasn't living lavishly. He was, living very modest, and they were showing it because sometimes I feel like, and it's still wrong, don't get me, still wrong for misappropriation, but I think people shift and try to do things like, I need to maintain my home, but I'm gonna try to help the organization, and I think even in profit organizations, like, I need to maintain and make sure people still getting their money, but we're taking a hard dip, and I can't let people know that I'm hurting and it's not working because everyone's gonna pull out, but I never level off, like it just all collapses. I get found out, and like I think I mentioned before, I feel like big companies have done it. They just were able to survive it, like I was still able to give past his interest, and he never knew the wiser because we came back around. And honestly, and if you shout out to that documentary about Madoff, because people didn't care. There was a point that people didn't care how he was doing it. They just knew they were seeing their interest. Everybody was getting their money. They felt like their group of people, they were getting their money. They didn't care. They're like, I don't know how he's doing it, but we're still getting our money. They stopped caring. And I think once they're made whole, he's making profit. Oh, okay. So then there was none the wiser. But he couldn't keep the system up because he wasn't investing the money. But that's a whole nother topic. But yeah, so I think you just gotta just listen to the news. Just pay attention. Pay attention to what's being said. That's all. And that's kind of how I listen to. I even listen to Fox. I listen to ABC. I listen to CNBC, because CNBC, you got to listen to them too. You got to kind of check how they're going. They may talk about finances, but they're opinionated too. They're trying to lean you a certain way. So just kind of listen to what's fact and what's opinionated. That's all. Right? Again, welcome to the Brothers of Legacy. I'm your host, A.D. Walker. To my left, right is my brother, like no other, Brian A. McCrory Sr. in the building. Right, and like Pastor Long said, it's all about who's sharing the narrative. Yeah,
absolutely. Definitely. And that's my point. When you are already blessed with the gift of charisma,
right,
when you are already well read,
right,
when you are easy on the eyes,
that makes a difference.
When you have personality,
yep,
you only have to be a little right.
Right. That's good. Right? That's good. You're right.
Yeah.
Right. You're right. Yeah, that is a true statement. Just a little right.
Just a little right.
Right. But like you said, if I can hit you in the head with something like we bust out some news that, hey, we need to be watching, and then a few days later it comes out.
Watch this.
Ooh, BOL's on top of the game.
Socioeconomic unrest will increase during Ramadan.
Okay, when's Ramadan start?
Risk of attacks will remain moderate. Overall, there will likely be a slight uptick in attacks across the globe conducted by jihadists and Islamist groups during Ramadan. Such activity will most likely be concentrated in regions across Africa, the Middle East, and South Asia, where these groups are currently active. In Europe, there will likely be an uptick in propagandistic activity by far-right groups during the crossover between Ramadan and the Jewish Passover, with ideologically motivated demonstrations and attacks exacerbating ethno-religious tensions and exposing minorities to hate crimes and harassment.
Okay.
I'm saying just in context, right? Mm-hmm. Then there's a bar graph comparing 2015 Tunisia, the Islamic State mass shootings attack on Port El Kanantul near Sousse, it kills 38. to 2022 Afghanistan ISK attack against Khalifa Sahib Mosque in Kabul kills 50.
Okay.
So they're looking at the trending and they're
Right.
letting you know what's coming. And then they give you all this detail to support why they're saying what they're saying, starting in sub-Saharan Africa.
Right.
So
Back
I
up.
could take all this information,
Right.
create a storyline,
Mm-hmm.
right?
Mm-hmm.
Someone can go and validate it
Right.
just by looking at the news.
Right.
Here's
Yeah.
what's happening in the Middle East.
Right.
And
Right.
say, oh, wow, McCrory had it first.
Right. Right.
Right?
Right. Yeah.
Because this report is March 27th. This is yesterday. Special global report. I won't tell you where it's coming from.
Don't share it all. Don't share it all.
Right. I'm saying because it's a 7-page report, but what I'm saying is I get these reports all day.
Yeah.
I get check-ins all day. You know, there's just a running list of stuff from all over the world. And it's how groups like Aerial Recovery chase disasters. That's how they respond to disasters, because they have access to all this information.
Right.
And if there's some troubling weather in the
Right.
forecast, you know, along the coast,
So
they know, like when the tornadoes hit Mississippi, like I started getting information on that Friday.
Nice.
They started loading up stuff Friday because they knew it was going to be bad. You know, nobody talked about 200-mile winds until it hit.
Right. Right.
But I can pull up a report that I got that projected the wind, and you got all these newscasters out here telling these stories. I wish you could have recorded the weatherman Friday.
Okay.
Talking about the storms coming, hitting,
Right.
because everybody had rough weather if you're in the Southeast over the
Right.
weekend, you know. But if you compare and I'm not like, I don't have, this is not some special, like I'm not unique. There's many people that have access to this information, y'all.
Yeah.
Right. I'm just saying that it's amazing to see this raw information,
right,
and then hear what's coming from the news stations. That's the only thing I'm saying.
Maybe we're gonna have an unfiltered news section. We'll just, did you know moments. So listen, we appreciate you guys for being here again, rocking with us. If you're not part of our community, join our community. Text LWN to 84576. Text LWN to 84576. Stay connected to all that we got going on. So today's topic, all right, so I'm gonna have to walk y'all through it a little bit. Today's topic is about building life differently. And I think I finally spelled that right. I had it wrong earlier. So if anybody's seen that, building life differently, right? So, you know, we've had conversations about going back. What would you tell your younger self? And so the kind of the angle of this conversation comes from like, what has held you back from making certain moves? You know, we've all probably been presented with certain opportunities, certain things we might have needed to invest in, that we've seen blow up to like, man, I should have done that thing. Man, I should have put that money there. Man, I should have made that move or moved here, you know, that job opportunity or whatever it is that was presented that you might have slight regret about. But this isn't about focusing on the regret of it, because we know things happen for a reason. You're in the space that you're in now for a reason. What I want to tackle is the blockage that sometimes keep you from certain opportunities. What is it that keeps you from these opportunities? And it's not always just financial. It could be social, you know, people that you just should connect with, you know, because they are helpful. You know, they are just great people that you need to connect. And why didn't you? Why haven't you? Because there's certain associations that you're probably in now. Like, I should have gotten this thing 4 or 5 years ago. I should have gotten this thing a long time ago. But what kept me? I had the same information, but what kept me? So I'm gonna speak about myself. I'm like super hesitant on things. Like I don't move quick enough. And I think for me, it's probably more fear based, you know, like, should I, you know, and for me, I trump, I trump things up, you know, like I see what it is. I can see the risk, but I make it probably bigger than it should be, you know, not even probably, I make it bigger than it should be. And I let the anxiety of making a move keep me from doing that thing. So I think for myself, looking back over my opportunities, it was more fear based, you know, because and more in my head than anything, because what I would have lost would have been minuscule, either time or money. It would have been just, I probably would have gained opportunity. You know, my conversations here would have been more enriched, like, oh, let me tell you about this. Oh, this was like a 2-month situation that I thought was going to prosper. Let me break it down, you know, like, or break down how I messed it up, you know, and
Yeah,
certain things like that.
there are so many factors, you know, when a person reflects on their life,
Right.
and imagine what it would look like if I imagine what it would look like if I made different decisions, there are a lot of things that you have to consider. Right. People consider, you know, your career. Did I make the right choice with my career? Would I have gone after, if would I have pursued a different profession? Would I have studied a different field? Would I have, like, I'm in corporate America, could I have climbed the corporate ladder in a different way? You know, but for me, when I started, it was about survival. What's going to get the bills paid? And someone said, well, that's great. You know, that's initiative, that's ambition.
Yeah.
Someone else would say, yeah, but you had a very low ceiling.
Right.
Because you're talking about just getting the bills paid. You know, another person might look at, you know, yeah, corporate America, my career was great, but I didn't make good relationship decisions. You know, what my relationships with family, with my friends, with my romantic partners, would it have been different if I had made different decisions? Well, yeah, it would have been different.
But what I say is, like, not really the woulda coulda, right? But just the
I'm so delayed.
Yeah. I saw your mouth. I was like, okay, then. Oh, okay, it's catching up, I think. That threw me off.
I'm gonna have to look. I gotta try to change networks, man. Let me see.
Okay.
I'll be right back.
No problem. I'll keep it rolling. But yeah, I think and Beverly gave me a little bit, but getting out of the woulda coulda of it, I think it just I'm looking at it more or less from a.
Is that better?
There you go.
Yeah, now it's better. Okay.
Like a character thing, you know, if you're constantly avoiding opportunities because of this particular thing, that's kind of where I'm looking at it from.
You're constantly avoiding opportunities.
Like, oh man, you never jump at something. You always overthink, and you seem like you constantly miss it. You know, opportunities come to you, but you never make a move at certain things, or you know, you get great people in your life, but you don't follow up. Like, hey, what blocks your follow up? You know, just certain tweaks in your life to improve. Like, now you're in the space that, you know, you're looking at employment differently. You know, like, how could I make a move out of here and jump up without losing, you know, what I have? You know, what's stopping me from just making certain moves at certain points in my life? You know,
because you feel like you've made such an investment in where you are, and the thought of trying to jump out of there into something else is very scary.
Yes.
Yeah, but the difference between a world changer and someone who wants to stay with what they have, you know, what do they say, a bird in the hand? Right?
Yeah.
You're resting in your comfort zone.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
But shiftings require adjustment. Adjustments create discomfort.
Yes.
Discomfort creates growth.
Right. Right.
Right.
Right.
And people don't grow because they don't want to be uncomfortable.
Right. That's a big one.
Yeah. I
That's a
mean,
big one.
but it's again, if you're going to second guess everything that you do, expect to live a life of mediocrity.
Oh yeah, 100%.
Yeah. If you're
100%.
afraid to take the risk, expect to stay
Where you at?
in mediocrity.
Right. Right.
But if you're willing to do that, yeah, you might crash and burn, but you also might exceed all expectations.
Right. Right.
But who are you if you do neither? If you just stand pat?
Right.
That's fear.
Yeah.
And to your point, what the question is, what are you afraid of? You're afraid of what people might say. You're afraid of the naysayers, the people who doubt you, the people that might think you're crazy.
Right.
You're afraid of losing people who probably were anchors in the first place.
Right. Yeah.
And so all you have is your own internal ambition and desire for better.
Yeah.
That, and I'm saying that's for someone who is not happy with where they are,
right.
who wants something more, then do something more.
Yeah.
Like I get up, I have to exercise, I have to read more. I thought I read a lot before, but I'm just reading differently. And I've added new material to my library.
Right.
I'm having different types of conversations with different people.
Right.
I'm stretching myself in different ways. And I feel like I have stretched myself in a number of ways already, but I realized, I told you guys this like a week ago, you wake up one day and you feel like you're on top of the hill, top of the mountain. And then you recognize that it's an anthill.
Right. More to go. Yeah, definitely.
And that's only because you still have so much life left to live. The earth is the Lord's and the fullness thereof. So if the earth is the Lord's and I'm in a struggle, I haven't tapped into God's creation. I haven't tapped into the resources, the benefits that have been made available to me.
Right.
It's on me.
Yeah, definitely. Definitely. I think that's a big one. Like, to get into a space where, is there more? Should you put limits on what you do? And it's fine to be content, because I'm content. I just know there's more. I know
content yet wanting more. Is that Bishop? I'm content yet wanting
more. Right.
Bishop Payton, Michael J. Payton, right there.
Yeah, definitely. And I think, it's almost like that's part of the goal to what more can I achieve? What more can I change? What more can I impact? And get into that space. And like I said, if you're looking back on like some of the choices, what keeps you from making better decisions, and what keeps you from making those, getting uncomfortable. I think that's a big one for a lot of people. Like, man, that's just uncomfortable. That space is uncomfortable. Doing that is uncomfortable. But I think we prosper, we grow in uncomfortable spaces. That's I've learned that, long time ago. It's just when people ask you to step out and do something that's just uncomfortable, this is a point of growth. This is a point of learning. Whether you succeed the way you think you should succeed, or it doesn't go that way, you've grown because you learned something. You got something out of it. And so it's like moving away from regret, but looking past and like, okay, this is what I learned. This is what happened, because you spend more time thinking about the things you've done wrong than the things that you've done right. I know for me, sometimes shaking off the bad decision
and that's dangerous. And that's why I love the book of Peter. Yeah. Peter talks about adding to your faith virtue, and to virtue knowledge. It talks about all of these attributes that you're supposed to add to your life once you become a believer, once you've been transformed, right? But then at the end, it says, and I got to go look it up because I can't remember exactly what place it's in the book of Peter. I think it's 2 Peter, but he talks about these attributes, virtue and knowledge, and to knowledge, temperance, all these things that you're supposed to add. But he says, he that lacketh these things, if you don't have these things, if you're not adding to your faith, he says you're blind, you're short-sighted, you can't see afar off. Why? Because you have forgotten that you've been purged from your old sins.
Right.
So when
Right.
you hold that regret, when you're harboring unforgiveness against self,
Yeah.
you're blinded to the possibilities of a brighter future. So
Right.
get over yourself, get
Yeah.
over those mistakes, because success does not happen without failures.
Right.
The greatest people and the most successful people in the world, they can't count how many times they have failed. What
Right.
matters is how many times they got up and recovered from their failures and kept pushing, kept
Definitely.
pressing, kept moving forward. You know, what if you had pursued a higher education? What if
Right.
you had attended a different school?
Right.
What if you studied abroad? You know, how would these choices have impacted your life? Well, you didn't do that. Well, is there an opportunity to do it now? Yes,
Right.
there's an opportunity to do
Do it.
things that you have not done before,
Definitely.
to obtain things that you have never obtained before.
Right.
Right?
Right.
How would it be different? You'll never know unless you begin to pursue greatness,
Right.
pursue purpose, pursue passion,
Right.
those types of things. And most people get lost and they get stuck. I call it being stuck in a rut, like Chuck. You get stuck in these daily things that you do, and you don't know how to break out of it. When I lived life with my son, I spent so much time. My life revolved around my son because of his special needs.
Yeah.
And the one thing that I was always concerned about is what happens to all of those little moments that were committed to him.
Yeah.
You know, my bathroom schedule was his bathroom schedule.
Right. Right.
You know, because he needed help.
Yeah. Yeah. Definitely.
So what happens to, you know, waking up one day and realizing that you don't have a time clock on how quickly you have to be home.
Right. Right.
Right. You have to begin thinking differently. And what I found myself doing is not moving, not going anywhere, still living the life as if he was in the other room.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
And I had to break out of that. Get up, get on an airplane, go travel, go see somebody, get in your car and drive, knowing that your son is not here waiting for you to get back.
Right. That's big.
You can remain. And I was there. I was there. I didn't realize I was there until I got on a plane.
Right.
You know, you got to break out of that stuff. And that's just real talking. And how many things have you stuck in your house? How many things have you stuck in a relationship? How many things have you stuck in a job? Have you stuck in a rut and you haven't broken out? Like getting your tire stuck in a mud rivet, a ridge. You slide a little too far off the edge of the road and you slide off into the ditch, and you're riding in the ditch, and now you got to try to force the car to get back up out of the ditch.
Right.
You know, are you willing to make a sharp enough turn to get yourself up and out of that rut?
Right.
As uncomfortable as it is, as muddy as it might be, as murky as the waters are, do you have enough faith and courage to make that sharp turn?
Right.
To pull yourself up out of there so that you can get something different in life. Otherwise, you're going to just stay in that rut and then you die.
Yeah. Pretty much.
Yeah.
Making them sharp turns, making them moves. It's essential. It's essential. And a lot of us have, you know, something's pulling you. Something's trying to pull you out. You wake up every morning and you think about it. And, you know, a lot of times we don't make the move because of comfortableness, fear. You know, you've been at the job. I've been there 20 years. I just got my 20-year plaque. You know, I got 10 more, then I get my watch. You know, like and I get, like, you know, so funny, Pastor, I was thinking about like how smart that with jobs, like you ever at a job 5 years, you get not a diploma, but you get like a piece of paper congratulating you. It's like the milestones. It makes you.
I got it after. I got at my 10-year point. I got a Movado watch.
Nice.
I'm so proud of that watch.
See, it's an It's kind of like an accomplishment. Like, ooh, I gotta stay in this thing.
Yeah, that was at the 10-year mark, and at the 17-year mark, the company was bankrupt. Maybe they should have been giving away all those watches. Can I get that
Movado back? Can I get that Movado? Can I get that?
Maybe they shouldn't have been giving away all those watches.
Too many people.
But the thing is, that's life.
Yeah, that is life.
You know, 100%. That's what it is. And 100%. And a lot of people, you know, are sitting in their homes emotionally bankrupt.
Right.
And won't move.
Right. Yeah.
Die emotionally broke. And all I'm saying, man, is you get one shot at this life.
Right.
And then you're gone. And you know, it's funny. I'll never forget this. Like 30 years ago, some preacher came in and he said, "Hey, how many people want to go to heaven?"
Right.
Everybody in the church raised their hand. How many people ready to go now?
Like right
Right?
now. Right
If
now.
heaven is what it is, why are you not in a hurry to get there?
Right. Right.
Because you want everything that God has for you here.
Here.
And if
Right.
you really want everything that he has for you here, why are you not pursuing it?
Right.
What has you so locked down that you don't want to pursue everything that God has for you here?
Right.
As big as this world is, as much that is available, as many sights as there are to see on this planet.
Right.
Because it's not just about how much money that can be made. Rich people die broke emotionally.
Yeah.
Rich people commit suicide. Wealthy people commit suicide. You only get a certain number of years in this life, so it can't just be money.
Right. 100%. 100%.
Right.
Yeah, I know.
Never felt the embrace of a loving woman, a loving man. You're scared of relationships because somebody hurt you. Get over yourself.
Right.
You know.
Yeah.
How would life be different if you lived in another city,
right,
another state, another country?
Right.
How would life look different if you considered another career?
Right.
If you shifted your social circle, you're not happy in your social circle anyway. Yeah. I'm playing. I'm kidding. But for those of you, if that's you,
we done spoken to somebody like this in there. Like,
if that's you, listen.
They call.
How many of you are more interested in diverse cultural experiences, but you're scared that your neighbor's gonna talk about you? If that's you,
if that's you,
that's you. I love bowling. Listen, man. I started back bowling again,
right?
Because I used to love bowling,
right?
You know. So now I have made a point that I'm going to spend 2 hours bowling whenever I feel like it.
Nice.
Because I'm trying to rebuild my game. Because that's something I enjoy doing.
Yeah.
And I had gotten away from it.
Yeah.
You know, I have been on my Harley Davidson.
Yeah.
More times in the last, and I've been gone, but I've made time to go up the street, go around the corner, do something, get on that bike and get some wind in my face.
All right.
Because I'm sick of it sitting in the garage and not knowing who I am anymore.
Right.
You have got to do, you have to make life happen for you. You know, and I think part of it, and I'm just speaking personally, you know, I talked about the physical stuff, exercising, because I had gotten so far away from physical exercise that I was embarrassed. I was ashamed. But I learned that if I can actually get myself to the breaking point to where I'm looking for the exercise, as opposed to trying to avoid it, evade it, then I know I've broken through. And I'm really, really close. I'm close. When I miss working out, my body tells me, hey, man, you haven't, you know, I'm almost there. I ain't there yet. I'm almost there to the point to where I'm actually hungering for the exercise.
Workout. That's good.
Yeah.
That's good.
But I'm gonna keep going until I think I'm delayed again.
Yeah, it's catching up. He said life is a flick.
Yeah.
Then you die. Right.
And I'm saying, listen, man, I don't want to, there's an old story about a man who there's an old story about a man who goes to heaven, and he gets to he's getting walked around heaven by an angel, and they get to this corridor. There's a big, huge double door, and it's about as tall, as high as the eye can see, and as wide. And the angel opens the door. The man says, "What's in here?" He says, "Oh, this is the room of blessings. This is the corridor, the hall of blessings." He said, "What do you mean?" He goes, "Well, in this room, there are shelves and shelves filled with all the blessings that were in store for people while they lived on the earth."
Right.
The man said, I got something on the shelf in here. He goes, "Yeah, you have 2 boxes on the shelf. You have the box of blessings that you received, and you have the box of blessings that you missed." So he's walking, he see all these big boxes, little boxes, oddly shaped boxes, and all. He goes, "Well, I got boxes." He goes, "Yeah, absolutely, everybody does." So he says, "Can you show me mine?" He goes, "Absolutely." And he walks him to this aisle. He looks up and he pulls these boxes down. He goes, "So this is your box of blessings?" He goes, "These were the blessings I got?" He goes, "Yeah." Man, he looked at him like, "Man, I got a lot."
Right.
And he goes, "And here's the box of blessings that you missed." And he looked up. "That's what I missed?" He says, "Yeah." He said, you were so wrapped up in the ones that you got, you
Right.
overlooked the stuff, the opportunities that you had for even greater blessings.
Right.
You got comfortable.
Right. Right.
Man, I hope to get there, and the box of I have one box because the other one is empty.
Empty. Right.
Because I want
Everything.
everything
Definitely.
that God has for me while I'm
Definitely.
here.
Definitely.
And you'll never get it without pursuit.
Right. Got to be in
With
pursuit.
your hobbies, your interests. Are you developing your hobbies? Are you developing your interests? Are you developing your passions? Are you developing your talents?
Right.
What do you need to be exposed to take what you do to a different level?
Right.
Who do you need to be talking to? Right?
Right.
Those are the things that you need to be in pursuit of.
Right.
To get yourself to the next level. Explore those things. That's what you have to do. And today's the day to do it.
Today.
Right? Today's the day. Make that phone call that you didn't make before. Call them.
Right.
Ask them for help. A lot of us are limited because we won't ask for help.
Right. That's good.
Somebody
ain't nobody trying to help me, Pastor. Ain't nobody trying to help me.
Yeah. Pull from them.
Ain't nobody trying to help me.
Yeah, ain't nobody trying to help me. It's amazing. Maybe because you keep trying to go to the person who ain't trying to help you.
Well, that too.
Right? I found out that some of the greatest help comes from folks that don't necessarily come from your clique.
Right. True.
Some of them don't look like you.
Right.
But you're intimidated to walk up and have a conversation with them.
Right.
For whatever reason.
I don't like talking to people. Oh, there you
I'm
go.
Delayed again.
Yeah.
I don't know what's going on over here.
I love it. Yeah. I just want to side note something about you and your bowling. That's so sad to hear. So I'm definitely not going bowling with you again, because we used to play, and the goal was who can get the closest to Brian. Who can get the closest? And now his game is gonna be on more. Yeah, we good. I'm retired. So listen, today is your day. Today is your day to make that move. Okay, there you go. It's catching up. To step out of that fear, that comfortableness, and go after the things that you desire. Yeah, and listen, and he said something that was big, and it didn't relate to finance. He said, tighten up your passion. Get better at it. Just enjoy it more. Get out there. Do the things that you love to do. Stop being stuck. Stop making excuses, because sometimes, well, I ain't got time. You got time. What you doing right now? You got time. And today's the day. Make today that day to make that move. Step out of that space. Those things you've been thinking about, pondering. Make that move. Don't be so fearful. But the worst that can happen, you lose a little money, lose a little bit of time, but you might gain some experience. Talk to that person. You will
gain experience.
Yeah. Well, you will. You're right. Regardless, any journey you take, you're gonna gain some experience. You're gonna learn something. You're gonna learn today.
Successful people move.
Right.
Period.
Yeah. Definitely.
Successful people travel. They get up from where they are and they move.
Right.
That's what they do.
Definitely.
Lazy people don't.
Right. Lazy people don't. Oh man, I'm happy.
There's a book. Somebody wrote a book. What's the name of that book? I gotta go find it now. Is it? Let's see. All
right. So before we get out of here, I just want to thank you guys. I'm not scared. Right. I'm not scared to ask for help. Looked like he was trying to come on. He's not scared. He was trying to come on the broadcast today. It looked like he might have been having some connection issues. He was there, then he wasn't there. So we appreciate Kaneem for coming through in the comments. Thank you guys for being here. Thank you guys for always supporting and sharing and being a part of every day. So listen, I need you guys to do something for me. Do something for me. If you're on the Facebook, make sure you're hitting the share button and letting the people know that we're on. 2, make sure you go into our page. Make sure you're liking on the Facebook page and the YouTube space. Make sure you subscribe. And 3, make sure you join. I think I did say one thing, but join our community. Text LW into 84576, scrolling at the bottom. Again, you're watching the Brothers of Legacy, my podcast people. I appreciate you. I didn't even do an intro today. I'm gonna do some revamping. And I appreciate you guys for being here, being a part. It's giving that time for that book. Go ahead.
Dan Chappelle wrote the book Get Your Ship Together.
Get your ship with the P. Ship.
The Wealthy Travel Agent Guide to Sales.
Okay. Nice.
Yeah, that's one of them.
All right.
Successful people travel. I'm not talking about foreign countries, but that happens.
Nice.
But successful people move.
All right. Okay. So make sure you guys check that out. I'm gonna put some of these resources. It'll be on the Facebook page, so you guys can kind of check it out. He's gonna probably drop me a list, and we'll put it up there. All right. So again, we appreciate you guys for being here. Another edition of the Brothers of Legacy.
So you done? 41 minutes in?
49 minutes. 49 minutes in.
Good. I'm delayed anyway.
Just want to point out, it is now, what's today? Tuesday, March 28th, 2023. And somebody we know is still free, walking around and not locked up. Just want to point that out. All right.
Because he asked for help.
Right. He sure did.
He made a phone call.
He made some phone calls, and so it seemed like, and now he's turning some stuff around on folks. So I don't know. We'll see what happens. He might be 47. All right. So we look forward to seeing you guys tomorrow. Same time, same place. Be safe, make good choices. You or someone you love is having a mental health crisis. Make sure you dial 988. Make sure you dial 988. I think that's it. That's all. Know that we love you. Jesus loves you better. We look forward to seeing you tomorrow, because tomorrow we're gonna have should have a packed show. My folks gonna be here. I got Aaron Wright coming through to talk about purpose and passion. So we're gonna dig even further into that, the mental aspects of it. All right. So we look forward to seeing you guys. Take care. Be safe. Be blessed. And step out of fear. Peace out.